Hello guys, and welcome to my video where I show you my personal Bakugan collection. Today, I'll be showing you about 40 Bakugan. Most of them are B1 Bakugan, the smaller size, and that's because I prefer B1 Bakugan to B2 Bakugan. And the reason for that is I like how they're small and sophisticated at the same time. But that doesn't mean that I don't have any cool B2 Bakugan. I do have some B2 Bakugan that I really like, as you'll see in the video. So I'll start with a Bakugan that has a lot of meaning for me, and that is a Delta Dragonoid, a Pyrus Delta Dragonoid. And I like this Bakugan because even though this isn't the original one, I had one like this when I was about 8 years old. And that was approximately 13 years ago. And this one's 400 Gs. And this is the card that came with it. I really liked it because, well, it was from the show. And he had this cool horn, and I really just love its design. It has an exposed magnet because it's the Korean version. I also have another Delta Dragonoid, but this one is in Darkus, and I believe this is also a Korean version. This one has 350. I also had a Darkus Delta Dragonoid when I was a child. I kept these two together because I thought they suited each other. But I always liked the Darkus one. It looked more menacing and intimidating with its red linings in contrast to its black color. And I have a couple more Delta Dragonoids that I can show you. Or by a couple more, I have 2 more. And this is a Pearl Pyrus Delta Dragonoid. And I think it's an American version because it doesn't have an exposed magnet. And he's kind of faulty. His wing doesn't open that easily. But he's kind of strong. It's 550 in contrast to my Pyrus one. The plastic is a bit different. This one's a bit smoother and nice to feel, and this one is a bit how should I say it, like a bone texture. No, that's a weird word to say, but I have another Pearl version, and this is the Heade Pearl Delta Dragonoid. These are all in B1. This one has 530 Gs. I really like this one as well because it has an orange neck in contrast to red. And it has a purple eye, which is kind of cool. Put these aside. And next up I have the original Dragos. I have 9 or 11 in total, and one of them is B1 or B2. So this is a Pyrus one, and it's the weirdest one that I have because if I can open this leg, it doesn't have a G power here. So where is the G power? It's right here, and it's sort of erased off. And I think it's supposed to say 720 Gs, which is really crazy for a B1 Bakugan. I thought it was fake, but you can see the Sega Toys Spin Master Bakugan project logo here. It has a C. So I don't know why it's this way. It doesn't have an exposed magnet or anything, but it's kind of cool that it has a very large G power number. Next up, I have two other Pyrus Dragos. These two are different. So if I can open them up. This one has an exposed magnet, this one doesn't. And the plastics are a bit different. You can see this one has a smooth plastic, this one has a bit textured plastic. And I'm guessing that this is an American version, whereas this is a Korean version. The one on the right has 350 Gs, and this one has 600 Gs. I prefer the exposed magnet version because the plastic is smoother and it looks cooler. But again, this one has better yellow color quality. I have two other Bakugan that are similar in contrast. Two Aquos Dragonoids. Let me open them up. So if I switch them up, if you can see that this one has the textured plastic, and this one has the smoother plastic. Again, exposed magnet, non-exposed magnet. This one should be 300 or 350 and 400. I like this one again better. I do like the Aquos one. And next up, I have a single Darkus one. Darkus Dragonoid. This one has a bit of an issue with its head, where it kind of sticks out. So I recommend that before buying a Dragonoid like this, or a Delta Dragonoid, you should make sure that the head aligns with the wings, because then it could just open easily when it falls down. This one has 300 Gs and an exposed magnet, the ones I like. And similarly, or the same attribute but a different color, I have a Pearl Darkus Dragonoid, 420 Gs, non-exposed magnet. I like this one better than the Darkus one because the pearls have this different look, and I do prefer them over the original Drago, or in the Dragos, like not in the Delta Dragonoid. I like how the black is in contrast to the white. Has purple claws, purple linings, red, yellow. Just really neat. My last Dragonoid is in B2. It's a pearl one. In contrast to, or this isn't the last one, sorry. In contrast to B1, it's quite larger. I bought this first online, but I didn't know it was a B2. I expected it to be a B1. It's kind of fun to play with. Like, you can do basically any kind of spin or roll with these. And the last Drago I have two more Dragos. Translucent Pyrus Dragonoid, which is at 420. He's really cool. And I have a translucent Ventus Dragonoid. And this might be my favorite Dragonoid out of all of the original Dragos. I don't know his exact G power. I'm guessing it was 400. Let's put him aside. Next up, I have a B1 Pearl Pyrus Laserman. I bought this because I thought Laserman looked cool and I wanted a cool variant of him. I tried to find a translucent version, but the B1 translucents are kind of hard to get hold onto, but I do like this guy. Let's set it aside. Next up, I have a single titanium Dragonoid. And I do like this design of Drago. His wings are really different. He has a different head shape, more of a humanoid shape, maybe, and a large horn. And I think this Darkus one looks better than the Pyrus one. The Pyrus one looks kind of dull compared to this one. And it has 870 Gs. Let me just close them up. Although it has a tendency to stick out like this. Probably my favorite Bakugan in all my collection is this one. It's a Bakugan from the Bakutech series in Japan. And this one should be called Grand Dragoon. It has gold looking metal soul pieces, which makes it really heavy, and that's why I bought it. I wanted a heavy Bakugan, and I like how his wings are way different than the other Dragos. And I saw some people flicking this. I guess that's sort of like a tactical thing to do in the Bakutech series, like at least in that gameplay, but I wouldn't do that because I don't play competitively. I just collect Bakugan. And next up I have another B1. This is a Darkus Pearl B1 Mantras. Some people really like Mantras, but I only think he's kind of cool, like not bad. He has 420 Gs, a simple design. He has claws. So the claws first, and then the head. And next up, I have one of my favorite pairs, which are the Preas, B1 Preas. I got this one sealed, like it was in its original packaging, but it was kind of expensive, about $35. But he's my first B1 Preas, and I like him because his arms don't extend all the way out. I'll show you why. So as in this one, B1 Darkus Pearl Preas has an G power change instead of an attribute change. His hands extend all the way backwards because the This part was worn out by whoever used it before me. I bought this second hand. And I have 2 more Darkus prayas. This is a reverse color, or I don't know the name of it. It also has an attribute change. I have a simple Darkus prayas with attribute change. This one also has like arms that don't extend all the way backwards, and he also has an exposed magnet. And the last prayas I have is a translucent Ventus prayas with G power change, but his arms extend all the way backwards. And I really like how he's a translucent B1. Let's put these guys back. My favorite prayas would be this Aqua's Pearl one, because he's the first one I got. And the second one would be this guy, the Darkus one, because he has an exposed magnet. Next up, I have some other B1 Bakugan, which are among my favorites. Dual Hydranoids. This is a Ventus one with 400 Gs. I have 2 more Ventus dual Hydranoids. This is a Pro one. This is another Ventus one, but he doesn't have a G power, or it was simply scratched off. This is a Pearl Ventus dual Hydranoid B1. Put these back, and then close it like this. He doesn't have a head problem, which is why he's in my collection, but this one has a head problem. He's a Pearl Darkus dual Hydranoid at 580 Gs. I do like the Pearl ones. And next up, I have my first dual Hydranoid. This one is 380 Gs. This was my favorite dual Hydranoid, or my favorite Bakugan, but then his chrome wheel turned black after time, and I think that was because it was all scratched and the chrome layer got like the chrome layer didn't work properly because the metal below was exposed to oxygen and it got oxidized. But he looks kind of small when compared to the green Ventus one, but they're the exact same size. These guys back. My favorite dual Hydranoid is this guy. He's a translucent B1 Darkus dual Hydranoid. 520 Gs. And he does sort of have a head problem, but if his heads don't stick out, then they're good. And the last Hydranoid, or not the last Hydranoid, but I also have an Alpha Hydranoid. So this is probably the oldest Bakugan that I've kept from my original collection. All of the other Bakugan are from very recently, actually, from the past months. This one has been with me for, I would say, about 10 years. I found him at a local toy store and it was covered in dust. So I really like this guy because I always wanted a Hydranoid, and this was my first Hydranoid. close them up. And next up, I have a couple more V1s. And I have this Pirate Siege. Open up his legs. I always wanted a Siege, and he's at 570 Gs. I really like this look. Simple design. And he's a really good deck Bakugan because he's very strong. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I'll try to spin roll it. Next up, I have two more B1 Bakugan. Let's move this out of the way. They're the exact same Bakugan with the exact same G power. This one is kind of dirty on the inside and this one is clean on the outside. When you close it, this one has better color quality on the outside. Next up, I have a B1 Scarus, a Pearl B1 Ventus Scarus. You can open up his legs. His legs are so small. There we go. Okay. He's at 540 Gs. He looks fairly simple and cool. This was in this set called Special Attack, and Delta Dragonoid, Dual Hydranoid with the Chrome were heavier, and there was Preas with the attribute change, and then the Scarus that had the ability to jump. So there was a symbol like this. You would place it like this and then push your finger downwards so that it would spin, and then this would cause the Bakugan to jump and land on a gate card. But I haven't really been able to do it. If I can try now. Yeah, let me try again. It's kind of difficult to do. Let's see. Yeah, that worked this time. And I wouldn't recommend doing it if it's from your personal collection, because it could damage the magnet. And next up, I have another good deck Bakugan, a Darkus Robotalion. He has springs in his arms, which make him shaky, wobbly. He's at 510 Gs, which is really good for a B1. And he's rather simple. And next, I have a B2 Bakugan. This is regular Elfin with the attribute change. And I saw some people painting this Elfin to make it anime accurate, which I think is really cool. This one just looks bland and simple, but I do like its design. It's really similar to Preas. And next up, I have a weird Bakugan. I think this is called Phosphos. It has some kind of special attack. I don't know what it's called, but when you push this button, the other heads pop out. It has 7 heads in total and some loose legs. He's at 750 Gs. I like this Bakugan because he resembles Hydranoid, which is one of my favorites. Let's put him back. This head kind of sticks out. And next up, I have another Bakugan that I really like. And it's an Aquos translucent Rubinoid. He can also get a Bakugan on top. He's at 620 Gs, and he also has a ruby effect on his wings, if you can see it. But he's smooth on the outside. Let me show you. See? I tried to get the Pyrus one, that was the Pyrus translucent one that was in the anime, but it was something like 40 bucks, and this was half the price. But I really like this one as well. And next up I have the big three. Let me prepare them. These three are probably the most sought after Bakugan. I don't know if you can guess them, but translucent alpha Hydranoid, translucent dual Hydranoid, and then a translucent single-headed Hydranoid. Everyone's searching for this single-headed Hydranoid because they think it's rare, but this Masquerade set was mass-produced, and I think it seems rare because people won't actually sell this to other people. But if you can find this, I recommend that you actually buy it. And it's easier to buy these three Bakugan in a lot, the way that I did. If you buy only these three, you will have to spend a fortune for them. I've seen these three Bakugan selling for 200, 300, and there's a Pyrus version of these three, which are a bit cheaper because people tend to want the Darkus variants more. And the weird thing is the last evolution, 600 Gs, and then the second evolution is 650 Gs, which is weird. And this one has 500 Gs. Here's a close-up. He has back legs dangling, and a tail, spikes, teeth, and blue neck. And these three are currently on auction on my site, so you can bid for these three if you want. And that was all the Bakugan in my personal collection. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.